Hi, everyone. First Alert Meteorologist Scott Gagliardi here with your First Alert Weather Extra on this Friday and August 1st. Made it to August, and I'll tell you what, it's not going to feel like it at all today. Even throughout the weekend, it's going to have that fall-like feel. Cooler temperatures in the morning, and then temperatures below average, say today 70s, tomorrow near 80. By Sunday, we're back up into that 80 to 85 degree range, and then we'll get back to more seasonable levels by next week. But until then, yeah, it's not going to feel like that. Let's take a live look outside, though, and see how things look across the state, because we're still dealing with plenty of clouds, even a few showers. A lot of the rainfall from yesterday and overnight, it fell at a steady clip, heavy at times, but did not lead to any flooding concerns. So we're very happy about that. Certainly big issues just to the south and west of Connecticut, where areas of New York City and Long Island had flash flood warnings and big problems down there, and even some cleanup this morning. So we dodged a bullet. We received the beneficial rain. It's just the urbanized flooding didn't materialize in that flash flooding. So good news there for sure. But temperatures, they're cooler. Look at that. In New London, it's only 63. The breeze out of the northwest, or northeast, I should say, at 12. In Torrington, noticing the clouds starting to thin out a bit. You'll see the clearing first today, as we have our system with all the showers and even some rain still farther east pulling away from Connecticut. Hartford, still looking at lots of clouds out there, but you can see the speed that they're moving. If you look quick from left to right on your screen, you can get an indication of how quickly things are trying to clear. We're going to have dry air pulling in from that wind out of the north at 9, but it's also going to keep us cooler today. In Hartford right now, only 61 degrees. A couple degrees below average from where we should be this time of year anyway, at least right now. And later on this afternoon, we're going to fall short of that high by a good 10 to, in some cases, near 15 degrees. So the record set back in 1917 of 100 is safe. We're up to 18 days so far of 2025 where we've seen temperatures at or above 90. The annual average is 20, and as much as we're not forecasting any 90-degree days for the next 7, beyond that, it does warm up again. Pretty typical for August, but last month, look at that, 11 days that we saw temperatures of 90 or better. I mean, just this past week, we had temperatures well up into the 90s, even feeling a bit hotter than that. Well, let's take a look and see where things stood for the month of July, because in terms of the temperatures, you can see all the 90s, fairly split, though, in terms of the days that were below average. Those by those blue tiles there, and look at the changes. We went from 91 to 96, 94, our third heat wave earlier in the week, to yesterday, 79, and we won't even reach that 79 today. Look at the rainfall that we had, too, that over 2.5 inches at Bradley, the wettest day of the month. We'll have to see how far back we go before we before we saw a lot of rain, at least that much anyway, in the Hartford area. It added up farther towards the north. I'll show you those totals in a minute, but everybody got wet last night for sure, even parts of the shoreline, anywhere from a half an inch up to an inch of rain. Any of the scattered showers that we had earlier this morning, now much more isolated in nature and really coming to an end. But if you're heading out, just take it slow. The roadway is certainly still on the wetter side. Here's the rain that we've seen radar estimated over the last 24 hours. Those light green and yellow shadings are anywhere from 2 to 3 inches, and the orange is a bit more than 3 inches of rain. So parts of Litchfield County, say Torrington, Harwinton, and then up through northwestern Windham County and northeastern Tolland County. Another bullseye up there, say past Union, of over 3 inches. But along the shoreline, you still had a half of an inch up to an inch in Guilford, as we saw just about an inch of rain there. In some cases, say in and around Old Saybrook, over an inch of rain. But temperatures, you're stepping outside, this is going to be a little bit of a shock to the system. I had to wear a jacket this morning because those 50s and 60s with a bit of a breeze makes it feel a bit cooler. And we're down anywhere from 10 to 15, even near 20 degrees cooler right now than we were this time yesterday. And the humidity is basically gone. So the temperatures will feel cooler. Look at these breezes out there. Sustained 10 to 15, gusting in some cases up and over 20. And the dew points, I mean, 50s to 60 is very, very comfortable. So, yeah, it's definitely feeling cooler out there. If we're heading to the beach, by no means are we at our nice beach day criteria just yet, but the sun will be returning later on this afternoon. You're good anytime after, say, the noon hour to get that sunshine and the UV index by then climbing to near 7. So not the highest that we've seen, but definitely uh, needing that sunscreen if you're heading out to the beach today. High tide comes in late afternoon and early evening. Notice all the steady rain is now much farther towards the east, and we're clearing out. Already seeing mostly sunny skies as close as, say, Albany and Poughkeepsie, New York, starting to clear out a bit. That stationary boundary that brought the flooding rain just to the south of Connecticut heading away. High pressure builds in. This is what you're waking up to tomorrow. I mean, a stunner of a start. If you have any beach plans tomorrow, get a head start because I'm sure they'll be busy. Maybe you're heading to later on in the afternoon, the Potato and Corn Fest. That looks excellent as well. We're starting Sunday, same way that we're ending Saturday. Nice, sunny. It will be cooler though. Once again, the mornings for both Saturday and Sunday in the 50s. Tomorrow morning, maybe in some of the hill towns, upper 40s. Yeah, not out of the question. A closer look though, you see any of those showers are now well off to the east of Connecticut. And once we get towards noon, a mix of sun and clouds, but improving conditions throughout the afternoon and evening. And that's tomorrow morning. A light breeze out of the north, cooler temperatures, lots and lots of sunshine throughout the day on your Saturday and both Sundays. So if you've been pushing off the yard work, whether it was for the intense heat earlier in the week and then the rain yesterday, well, today is a perfect day to do so. Once we get past these morning hours, still quite wet out there, but the sun does come out. And look at that. Highs this afternoon, only in the mid-70s. If you don't like the humidity, well, you're going to love the next 7 days because we stay low and pleasant. Very, very abnormal for August. But things will change, as they always do, especially here in Connecticut. So enjoy the next 7 in terms of the somewhat cooler temperatures. They'll moderate by next week, but it's beyond the next, say, week or so. By the end of next weekend into next weekend, that's when we see good signals for temperatures to be above average again, likely in the upper 80s to maybe even 90s. And then beyond that, we're talking, say, the second week of August and beyond, very good signals that will be quite warm and that humidity will be making a comeback as well. So, yeah, as mentioned, enjoy the next 7 days. Looking at the tropics, completely quiet, but there's some indications as well that even the tropics over the next, say, 2 to 3 weeks will begin to, say, turn on a little bit. We're going to notice more activity. The Saharan dust, which really limits any activity in the tropics, will be becoming less, and that will allow more storms to form. And just which ones are the ones that kind of spin up and turn into a tropical storm, and where do they go? Well, of course, too early to determine that, but the probability of seeing more activity is increasing. Still waiting for Dexter. Beyond that, Aaron, and then the list goes on. Plenty of names to get through, but I mean, this is very typical for what we would see so far this tropical season. 90% of the storms that form are after this date, so barely getting our feet wet in that sense. Forecast highs today, those low to mid 70s. Some showers still out there now, but we're becoming brighter. Look at that sunset, 8:09. Remember just a few weeks ago, it was closer to 8:30. So we are unfortunately losing that daylight each and every day. How sad is that? Not a fan. But I am a fan of baseball. And tonight, if you're heading to the Yard Goats games, or Yard Goats game, I should say, 60s and 70s, it is going to feel like fall out there. I mean, this is a fall-like feel with baseball weather for sure. Excellent, excellent night for baseball. And then you're waking up tomorrow morning to 50s statewide, maybe near 60 along the immediate shoreline. I mean, you have a water temperature of 75. It's hard to dip down, say, too much cooler than where we are right now this time of year, even with a northerly breeze. But notice Salisbury, 52. Would not be surprised if, say, maybe areas like Sharon or Harwinton, certainly elevation-dependent areas, Staffordville, dropping down into those upper 40s. That is definitely within the realm of possibility tomorrow. 80 on your Saturday, and then even a bit warmer by Sunday, 84. Another cool start, though, 56. And then next week, back up to the 80s, mid and upper 80s for Monday and Tuesday. Lots of sunshine, but much more seasonable for this time of year. If you need to water the garden, well, you don't today, for sure. But going forward, yeah, we're pretty dry for the next 7 days. No sign of any rain. at least through Thursday. And I mean, the way things look, even Friday and into next weekend, at this point, looking very dry. Temperatures, though, moderating over the next several days, 80s by next week, and staying dry even along the shoreline. All right, other than that, have a great afternoon, have a great day, a great weekend, and make August a great month. Thanks for watching.